have a friend of mine, a classmate, that we visited him at the Shabbos. He was about a block away from me. And he's had very, very challenging the last few years. He's not well. He had a four shlema. He's going to Brooklyn. And one of the smart things he does, because unfortunately he's not capable of working as much and moving around, and he has a lot of extra time in his seat, in his chair, or in the hospital, or wherever he is. So he helps time go by learning. And he goes through Maimarim and Chassidus. So it's very easy to visit him on Shabbos because he always has something very, very nice to say. So over Pesach he said something. What? Yeah. No. So over Pesach we had one discussion we had is I told him a lot of times when I have a lot of free time I'm thinking and I think about things I did in the past and certain things I'm thankful where I went and certain things I have regrets. So I asked him if there's any, he has a lot of times, what could he tell me, what kind of regrets, what could I learn from the extra time? Because being that he's a little bit away from our regular world, he's in a different schedule, it's easier to look at it. And he came from our world where he was busy with he was able to participate like everybody else. Now he has time to put aside, what could he share with me? What does he wish he could have accomplished when he was all well and everything was going good? And he told it basically in one word. From there we went into conversation. Be a mensch. If you're a mensch and you're nice to everyone and you respect yourself and you respect other people, when after 120 you won't have any regrets. Life will be successful. And the reason why I'm starting off with this is basically the point that I'm trying to bring for myself and everybody else, and then I'll go into this whole concept. We have the concept of Pesach, as we discussed today in the morning. The Maimer, the first day Pesach is the first night especially, but all the days of Pesach we eat matzah, and we're very, very careful not to have any gebrachs, because matzah represents a food of a humbleness. And then we get to the last day of Pesach where we eat gebrachs, where we're not as careful. And it's not only that we're not as careful, but it's anything we have to put into the soup matzah. We have to have matzah ball. And then we go through the bridge between Pesach and Shavuos, which is Sfiras Eimer, sphere accounting, preparation, and working in all our midas. And again, we're working on this concept of changing this humbleness into more the opposite of humbleness. Until the point where we come to Shavuos. Shavuos is a very different carbon. It's a carbon, the only carbon that actually has chametz that rises. So the question that might go through the people's mind, people might misunderstand, might have a hard time, digesting, is if you take the opposite word of humbleness, it could spell as arrogant. So why is it a mitzvah to be arrogant? What's that all about? You should stay humble the whole time. Why is it gebrachs? And we're making all this. What kind of preparations are we making? We're heading to a point where we become arrogant. We have this carbon that's all grown and everything like that. The answer is very, very simple if you give a look into it. Arrogant is the opposite of humbleness. Is not to get arrogant. Humbleness is you get into your reality world. You know who you are. You know where you stand, and you realize that there's Hashem. Hashem gives you a certain gift, and through that gift you are capable of doing what you're doing. And from there on, humbleness is not arrogant. It's nothing. It's encouragement. It's a chizuk. It's an encouragement, and it's a feeling of uplift. For example, Yaakov is traveling to Laban. He loses everything. He's got nothing. He sleeps on some stones. He feels like everything is and here he worked to come to the situation. What did he do? What did he do wrong? Esav, he had a choice. He could have been Hashem like Esav. He could have lived, do whatever he wants. Esav did. He had a free world. Whatever he wanted was his, and he did whatever he wanted. He enjoyed the world. But Yaakov decided he's going to learn and he's going to do right with Hashem, and he's going to work on himself with all the self-sacrifice that he had. And look where he is now. He's over here sleeping in a midbar somewhere. There's nothing happening, and he feels totally down. He feels at the point of collapsing. What happens? Hashem comes and gives him encouragement. He says, "I'm going to bless your kids. I'm going to get out your soul." What is the next word it says? His feet carried him. His feet carried him because he had that sense of, he didn't become a guy. He didn't say, "Oh, God came to visit me. I'm God's gift to humanity." But he came with a chizuk. He came with a feeling of encouragement. So how does this work between us and Hashem? I'll have to give you an example because that's the only way I can get my message through. Say you're going to a host to eat for them for Shabbos. The typical thing is you buy them, you feel uncomfortable, you give them something, you're entitled to buy something for them. It depends. Some people, it's a minute, you feel better if you buy them something. Let's put it this way. So you want to impress the guy, he's going to have a bunch of people sitting around the table. And you're going to go buy him a bottle of wine, but you're not going to buy him a $25 bottle of wine. You're going to go out of your way, and you get him an $80 bottle or $100. Okay, so just imagine you're going to the host, and you know this host did not work on his midas. He doesn't have midas. He's an arrogant person. He's proud of it. Some people are proud of it. He doesn't care about anyone. So he's cooking over the cock in the belt, you know, right? So you're going to him, and you go to his house, and you're bringing this bottle. It's all wrapped up. And I'm going to give you another example at the same time. A lady has the same thing. A lady's going to hostess, she buys a $500 bouquet of flowers for Shabbos. So when they're sitting down, there's a bunch of guests, her flowers should show up. Okay? Now the guest comes, the guy who's coming with the wine or lady's coming with the flowers, comes Friday night to the table, and she either doesn't even see the flowers there, she sees it still where she left it, wrapped up, it was never opened up. These are risks that she's taking, because if she's not about midas, she doesn't have midas, she doesn't acknowledge it when she's a brat, or if he's an arrogant guy, these are the risks they might be facing. The guy might come and expect his bottle to be sitting right there in the center. You won't see anything. They could go through the entire meal when no one ever acknowledged the cloud, there were flowers there. You could go through the entire meal when no one either acknowledged that there's wine over there. Let's take it to the next risk. The next risk is that he could come with a bottle of wine, open it up, and people are going to go, and no one's going to say anything. He drinks it, and finally one guy says, oh, you know, this wine is really good.